This is a brief introduction to co-teaching as it's being used in classrooms here at George Fox University and in other universities in the area. Co-teaching is defined as two teachers, a cooperating teacher and a teacher candidate, working together in a classroom with groups of students, sharing the planning, organization, delivery, and assessment of instruction, as well as the physical space. Both teachers are actively involved and engaged in all aspects of the instruction. What co-teaching is not, it's not simply dividing the tasks and responsibilities among two people. It is not one person teaching one subject followed by another who teaches a different subject. It is not one person teaching while the other prepares materials or grades papers in the teacher's lounge. It is not one person teaching and the other person watching without a purpose. When one person's ideas prevail regarding what will be taught and how it will be taught, that is an example of what is not co-teaching. And co-teaching is not someone who's simply assigned to act as a tutor in the classroom. The history of co-teaching in the United States can be traced back to the 1960s, when it was popularized as an example of progressive education. In the 70s, co-teaching was advanced by legislated school reforms and the needs to modify instruction for a more diverse school population. By the 1990s, studies of the effectiveness of school-based collaborative activities with co-teaching as one model appeared in the research and practice literature. Benefits included improved academic and social skills of low-achieving students, improved attitudes and self-concepts reported by students with disabilities, and more positive peer relationships. The most frequently mentioned drawback was the lack of staff development about co-teaching. Federal legislative changes, such as those required by the Individuals with Disabilities Education Improvement Act, IDEA, of 2004, and the No Child Left Behind Act of 2001, have focused attention on students with increasing diverse learning characteristics to achieve high academic performance in the general education classroom. Changing legal requirements and student demographics combine to point the need for increased collaborative planning and teaching among school personnel who are attempting to comply with the legal mandates of IDEA. As for the No Child Left Behind, the requirements for high standards and student performances are intended to foster conditions that lead to better instruction and learning. This is also continuing on with Race to the Top. A promising No Child Left Behind requirement is for all teachers to meet the standards that would certify them as highly qualified. The model of co-teaching incorporating strategies defined by Cook and Friend, 1995, was developed in response to parental complaints that their children were being taught too often and too long by inexperienced teacher candidates and not long enough by experienced teachers. Teachers complained that they had to give up their classrooms to teacher candidates too much and too often. After incorporating co-teaching in classrooms in Kansas State, the report was that parents began to request their children be placed in classes that use the co-teaching model rather than the traditional model, and more mentored teachers began to request teacher candidates every semester.